Namaste,
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 Techies.
Techies. I love our greeting. I love it. We chose a good name for the show.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of the highlights of the show, right?
Yeah,
Apart from
yeah.
the content,
We
right?
come in peace. It's a
Yeah.
peaceful name, peaceful, messaging. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, looks like you got a nice shirt there with a Microsoft MVP.
Yeah, that's MEP T-shirt, right?
Next time I'm gonna use the stickers. I'm just gonna. Oh my god.
Uh,
Anyways, so um, I think we have another good show today. We talked about what we are going to talk about, and I think what we're going to focus on is patching. Not in terms of how to do patches and stuff, but more about the recent Patch Tuesday for February, right? So that was last week. Patches came out, and then there's some issues with some patches that have been announced and people are reporting. So we're just going to talk about some of those things, and just to give our viewers um, some information, and we will share the links and information in our again in under our YouTube show. So
yep.
sounds good,
So
right?
the yep, that's
All
great.
right. So I will kick this off. So first things first is that I have been writing a monthly blog post on my harjit.us blog site. And I started that last month for the January 2021 patches. And then I just posted one um, end of last week for the February ones. And
Mm-hmm.
again, we will post a link here. But this, basically gives you one place view about all the Microsoft updates that were deployed in February, including Office updates, and I also added some third-party vendor updates, right? So, for example, Adobe, Cisco, Oracle, Intel, and so on and so forth. It's just a good place to come, check it out, and get that information. So in this blog, I also posted there's one change that has been made.
Do,
Uh,
do you want to share the screen or something, or is it fine?
um, I could. Nah, it's okay.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah.
We'll just let people look at us. so, so one thing that has changed in February is that the LCU. So if you hear the term called LCU and SSU, LCU stands for latest cumulative update, and SSU stands for servicing stack update. Right. The change that is made is that starting February, the SSUs are now, the servicing stacks are now included into the latest cumulative updates, starting with Windows 10 version 2004. So before they used to be separate, and there have been issues where if you don't
Interesting.
install the servicing stack update first, the SSU updates, then your cumulative updates don't install. And people will ask, like, how do you make the SSU install first before the other? There's some logic built in, like for example, when you're using config manager and um, to deploy updates, there's a logic that's made in there that detects and says, well, in order to install this, I need to install the SSU first. So it just kind of works out. But some people have been issues.
Yeah,
So
there were a lot of issues highlighted by within our community itself, right? There is a lot of confusion about all these sequence. How do we need to install this, etc., etc., right? So this is great initiative from Microsoft, I think.
yeah, yeah. So, but going forward is just that's just going to be one patch that's going to include all of
Yep.
that instead of separate. So that's a good thing going forward.
Yeah.
So one of the first reported issues with a patch this month was a KB4535680, which is reported to be causing BitLocker problems in Windows 10 systems. It's not affecting all systems, but there are reports out there that is affecting BitLocker, um, uh, which the issues with the Secure Boot database or DBX. And so some people is requiring users to have the recovery keys for BitLocker, and if you don't have the key, then you are basically, uh, you know, in
Ooh,
a
that's
that's
kind
risky.
of tricky. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there is again, I will either you check my blog post for all of this information. I will keep it updated, or we will also add it under the YouTube channel in the description for you to check out. So Microsoft they're aware of this problem, and they are working on it, and but they also have listed a workaround, which is kind of a tedious workaround. For example, on devices that does not have credential guard, run the following commands, to suspend BitLocker before you install the patch, right? So like you use the manage dash BDE protectors and commands, but this is not something simple you can do when you're managing hundreds and thousands of machines, right? So
Yeah.
um, I guess
And
there'll be a patch that'll come out pretty soon to fix this.
that's also like if you are using SCM or configuration manager or something else, then it would be difficult to sequence all these things, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And then there's another patch for Windows Update to fix WPA3 flaws. And what this is that uh, it was with version 1909, I believe, and a new patch has come out to fix this, which was causing some blue screens and stop errors when those machines were connected to a WPA3 connection. So again, that is also listed in my blog post on the updated patch for this. So we got so much going on with this,
Yeah.
and what else? What
busy
else?
busy busy weeks, right?
It is.
From
It is. It really is. Yeah.
After patch Tuesday, like at least 1 or 2 weeks will be busy weeks, because we need to look at the compliance reports and check what are the failure, right, etc., etc., then remediate it, etc., right? Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So then you have another one is that Microsoft pulled a patch and reissued a different patch to fix an issue where um, it stops installing the cumulative updates. This is again addressing the servicing stack update, the SSU, and so they reissued it. It's KB 500 1078. It's affecting systems Windows 10, 1607, and and other versions, as well as Server 2016 systems. So I did notice in my environment that all of a sudden, like, wow, there's I can't remember, like probably less than 100 servers, 2016 servers, that suddenly needed this patch. And
Hmm.
after I've already deployed all the other ones. So that needs to be taken care of because you have to install this patch in order to allow the cumulative update patch to continue to install after the fact.
Yeah. We have some issues highlighted by some of the users in HDMD forum also about the same issue, 2016 server patches. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. What else we got here? And then there's another one, KB 402 3057 was released again to improve Windows 10 um, updates. And I guess it's something to do with improving the reliability of Windows Windows Update Service components that some had reported to be an issue. So if you're running into that, that's that's caused by this particular update that has now been reissued, um, which is I think now it's called KB4023057. What else? We can go on. I mean, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. So again, like I said, this one KB4023057. Um, it's a re-release of a Windows 10 cumulative update to improve the Windows update reliability. So if you're having some issues with compliance or your systems are not updating properly, go check again, sync your WSUS, sync your sub, and get this new patch and release it.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Then
really good.
yeah, and then there's another one that's really odd one. I haven't personally seen this issue, but there's an update called KB4601319, which apparently is causing some webcam problems.
Ah.
So, so this patch apparently is affecting some webcams not to work. And those webcams are things like RealSense cameras, Razer Stargazer cameras, and so on. And what it is actually a problem that apparently is caused by a missing virtual driver for these cameras. So Microsoft is aware of this and getting this taken care of. So if you have webcam issues, it's caused by this patch. Finally, I know in one of our shows we talked about removing Adobe Flash player by importing the patch into WSUS and then syncing it with Config Manager and so on and so forth. What I understand now is that Microsoft has started to release this patch KB4577586 as an optional update. So when you go and check for updates, now it should show up as an optional update to remove this Adobe Flash player from your systems. So that's already starting to come out in the wild.
Huh. That's really good, right? So we
Yeah,
we
that
can
is really
avoid
good.
all
Yeah,
those things.
yeah. Did you have anything else about patches or things that you encountered or heard about?
No, all these things, like most of the people are like kind of confused between SSU and cumulative updates, when to install what. So we always get every patch Tuesday, or after that patch Tuesday, we always get a lot of questions in our WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups, as well as in HDMD forums, right? So
Yeah,
about same. So this initiative from Microsoft to combine SSU with cumulative update is really a great initiative, as we mentioned before.
yeah. It
Looking
is a
forward
it's
to
a
it.
good thing. It's definitely going to help fix issues that people have been trying to struggle. And I'm not sure why people were struggling because I didn't technically have those issues with the separate SSUs and LCUs when I deploy them with Config Manager.
Mhm.
And again, I mentioned that the logic was built in, but maybe some people are using other mechanisms to install patches that is not able to determine that hey, I need the SSU first, and that doesn't
Yeah.
happen. So
So probably I have seen like people kind of select the patches and deploy it. Probably they might have selected only the cumulative update patch
that's
and
possible.
deployed it to, so
Yeah,
they miss the SSU, right? So
right.
yeah,
And I also have
it's all.
seen,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a good point right there. And I also have seen people will make their deployments very complicated, like especially through Config Manager, and they will have their ADRs that will, and we will have another show on how to do patching,
Mm.
from soup to nuts in a future show. But what people will do is they will start separating they'll start separating out by Windows 10 versions or server versions. And then they'll start separating out, like you said, cumulative updates or products and things like that. And in thinking that they have to do it that way, and it just really complicates the whole management of it.
Yeah.
It's when you deploy patches, the operating systems and they're smart enough to know, hey, you deployed uh, uh, a server 2016 patch. I'm a Windows 10 system. I don't need that patch. I'm just going to grab that Windows 10 one, and so on and so forth, right?
Exactly.
You deploy Windows 10 to, so just simplifying that and letting the logic happen is just makes your life easier.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
Another thing I want to touch upon is that the C-week patches are now out, and you people may ask, what's a C-week, right? So
Yeah.
Microsoft has A week, B week, C week, D week patches, right? And I talked about it at one of my sessions that I did at Ignite about 2 years ago. So A week are like the Office updates, like the non-security MSI based Office updates. That's what they are. They come out a week before Patch Tuesday. B week is the main Patch Tuesday, which was last week, right? That's when like these are the fully baked patches. These are in production. Off you go. Then you got the C and D week patches, which are more along the lines of preview patches or preview updates, or non-security type fixes. They just improve some performance or things like that, right? That's what those things are. So you don't have to install these patches that come out every week, right?
Yep.
So eventually the C week and D week patches will and the A week patches will get migrated into the patch Tuesday week, right? If they're no longer needed, they're gone. If they're needed, they get merged into the patch Tuesday one, right? So this is why you need to keep up on a monthly basis because patches get superseded all the time, and new ones come out, as you saw last week with these problematic patches that they get re-released the very next day to fix.
Yeah.
So definitely do your testing and in a small test phase, right?
Yeah.
So the last thing I wanted to mention is that yesterday Microsoft released information about the next feature update called Windows 10 version 21H1. Um, I don't know if you heard about it, Anoop, but it was announced yesterday,
Oh.
and what this is it is available for Windows Insiders in the beta channel program. So you're not going to
Oh.
see this right away as in production. If you've been working with Windows Insider builds, I do that, in my VM, and I've got a separate, laptop, that I use just to install this to see what features and things like that are there. Um, so yeah, you can try that, and Windows 10 21H1 will be delivered as an enablement package using the servicing, just like they did with um the previous 20H2 and stuff like that, right? So the upgrades are going to be much quicker, much faster, and have less disruption to the end users. So keep that in mind. It's going to be using enablement package to get this version.
Yeah.
What?
That will magically enables the features, right? So
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Um, and one thing to keep in mind is that 21H1 is piggybacking on 20H2 in terms of how long it's supported, right? So it's at the moment it's going to be for 18 months, but eventually 21H1 will turn into 21 H2, and then that should fall under like the 30-month cycle that they've been doing for the later releases, the fall releases, right?
Yeah.
So so in right now, if you want to play around with it, you can test it. You can enable your Windows Insider capabilities and play with that. So um,
That's great stuff. Thank you for sharing all these details, Hajin.
yeah, so that's all we have. So if anybody has issues with patches that they encountered that we haven't talked about or mentioned, definitely let us know through our YouTube channel or elsewhere. We're happy to listen. And definitely follow these blogs that we provide you with these resources. Anoop's blogs are awesome. I've been trying to do some on my own. So if you keep track of this, uh, you know, all the information is there. I mean,
Yeah.
like Anoop mentioned, we get asked all the time, through WhatsApp or Telegram or Facebook Messenger and stuff like that. Hey, is there a problem with any patches this month? Is there a problem with, well, like, yeah, they are, but how do I,
Yeah.
just go check on this resource and I'll tell you what you need to know.
Yeah, that is why I love your blog post about the patching, monthly patches,
Yeah,
and those are very useful, right? Those are one shop stop for all the patch related updates, right? So that's really good. Yeah.
yeah, and what I've been doing is that I've also been adding like third-party patches, right?
Mhm.
Which are just as important. For example, Adobe security patches,
Yeah.
Cisco security patches,
Cisco. Yeah.
right? Those are really important for like maybe it's for any Connect or something. And sometimes there are
Yeah.
VMware patches that I list there, Google patches, and so on and so
You
forth.
mentioned you mentioned Oracle also, right? So that's, I
Yes,
think,
Oracle
so,
updates,
yeah.
exactly. So it's like if you want to hunt around and find them, that's fine. But we are providing you guys with resources that you can just come out and grab this information in one stop shop. So, well, I'll keep this going every month and see how I can do. But um, it is
Yeah.
challenging because, as we just talked about, patches get released and then those patches are gone, so they're no longer are valid because a new one came out 1 or 2 days later, and so on and so forth. So trying to play catch up and provide up to date, relevant, it's time consuming and tedious, but we still try to do our best to for that.
Yep.
So anyways, I think that's pretty much it, but we will do a patching session. We'll talk about how patches work, how they're released, how we can deploy them with config manager, and so on and so forth. Some tips here and there at maybe one of our future shows. That'll be good. That'll be a demo one, I guess.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah. So I guess this is it. So let us know if you have any patch issues, concerns, and have any questions. We're two friendly guys. We'd love to
Yeah.
help answer them. So
Two Deshi friendly guys. So yeah, you can please comment. Yeah, if you have any problems or any concerns, please comment, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and
like and
share.
subscribe. Yes,
Yeah.
and share it out. Give us the exposure. So we need that. So all right. So until next time, you know where to find us. And namaste.
Namaste.